All the danger signs were there for this guy's no good with money.
We just rolled all our debt into the mortgage.
Priority number one is getting this thing fixed properly.
We can't afford to sell, and we can't afford to stay.
You are complete morons when it comes to your money.
I would like to know where you're going.
It's come to the point where she goes through my receipts when I come home.
We are up creek. You're just gonna have to suck it up now.
Money, 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 money.
My name is Shannon. I'm 37.
My name is Pete. I'm 36. I've been with Shannon for about 3 years. This was Shannon's place before we got together, so I kind of came into it.
I bought the house in 2004 on my own.
Open concept, so we can cook and watch TV at the same time. We have room for an office and a gym. I like it. It's cozy. It's nice.
The master bedroom is my favorite room in the house. There's lots of light. It has its own ensuite. It just feels like it's a little bit of an oasis. Together, we have been sort of struggling for the last couple of years. So when it came time to renew the mortgage, I couldn't do it on my own. And Pete wanted to live in a house that we own together. Once we start applying for a mortgage, people come crawling out of the woodwork from your past because now he's active in the system.
I had a student loan issue pop up. I had some parking ticket issues pop up. Some tax issues pop up. Pop up means I avoided them for a long time and I finally reared their ugly heads is what pop up means.
So all the danger signs were there for this guy's no good with money.
We just rolled almost $90,000 into the mortgage.
Consumer debt that we had accumulated together. So a $250,000 mortgage is now a $340,000 mortgage. We're still not out of debt. And yesterday I quit. I told my boss this was my last day. I can't take the stress from work. I can't take the stress from home.
Shannon tends to worry about the monetary issues. I'm a super out of sight, out of mind kind of guy.
It's an argument about every dollar. I would like to know where you're going.
It's come to the point where she goes through my receipts when I come home and will question me about it. Oh, so now it's my fault.
No, it's not your fault.
Our financial situation could totally cause a breakup.
He doesn't seem to care at all. But for me, it's huge stress. There has to be some accountability and responsibility and change, big change. If he can't learn to at least meet me in the middle and make an effort, I'll end up losing the house and losing him, and where will we be?
This month, I'll help this couple protect their #1 asset, their home. I've been solving money problems for over 20 years, tackling everything from high finance to low income. I help people understand money and debt and how to balance it all while keeping a roof over their heads. Shannon and Pete needed 2 incomes to qualify for this mortgage, but now they're down to only 1. They aren't earning enough to manage the mortgage and the maintenance on their home. They're at risk for losing the roof over their heads and their relationship. I'm here to see if I can get both back on track. Hi, Gail Vaz-Oxlade.
I'm Shannon.
Nice to meet you, Shannon.
I'm Pete.
Nice to meet you, Pete.
Nice to meet you too.
If you don't mind, the first thing I'd like to do is just drop my bag and have a quick look around.
Sure, come on in.
All right, thanks. So how long have you been in this house?
6 years.
About 2.5 for me.
And when are you planning to paint?
That's ongoing.
Because you don't have any money to buy paint?
That's right.
There's some things that need to be done to keep the value of the home. There's some cracks in the foundation.
We really need to finish the driveway. Floors need to be fixed, the walls need to be redone.
Look at the stuff. All our small appliances. And then we have shelves and shelves of stuff. I have a feeling they've been shredding the evidence. This is how the boy takes care of his financial paperwork. All of these are from the tax man. You are complete morons when it comes to your money. Here's the problem now. You've borrowed so much money, nobody will lend you any more money, so now you're screwed. Shannon's in charge of the money.
Yes.
Were you behind her when she did the Buyers Club?
Yeah, that was a crazy
That was a
thing to do.
catastrophe.
Buyers Clubs can be very seductive. You can buy vacations and almost anything you need for your home at near wholesale costs. The problem is you have to spend thousands on club purchases every year to justify the membership fees.
The membership at the time was approximately $10,000. So that was a $2,000 down payment and subsequent payments of $205 for the rest of our lives. I'm pretty sure there's like no end in sight.
So you come to the realization you're in a mess. Let's call Gail. And then why don't I quit my job?
Because the job wasn't making me happy. It wasn't helping us.
Happy is really important when you're drowning in debt.
But
in the meantime, he's being garnished.
30% of my income is taken bi-weekly by the government.
If you couldn't pay for the things you were buying before, how are you going to pay for them and all the debt now?
I have no idea.
Do you have any idea how close you are to losing the house? You are financially irresponsible. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts. You have no concept of consequence. And you have put your largest asset at huge risk of being wiped out. Okay, so you start projects and you never finish them. You put in a base with a parking pad, but you didn't finish it. No. You finished the staircase, but you didn't finish it. Mm-hmm. Paint on wallpaper, but you didn't finish it.
That's right.
Interlocking patio, did you finish that?
The patio is finished, but the rest of the backyard is not.
Okay, so not quite done.
Not quite done.
And then there's the bedroom furniture and the built-ins for another $4,000.
That's not done either.
So you spent a total of $13,400. All those upgrades will be a waste of money if they're left unfinished. And they've been left unfinished because these two have exhausted their credit. You're putting stuff on credit.
Right.
$4,000 worth of parking tickets. There's the buying club membership, student loans, $10,000 in taxes owed, and here's the $88,000 that you consolidated to your mortgage. You guys are in your mid-30s and you are $120,000 in debt, not including your mortgage.
Wow. $120,000 in debt was a huge surprise.
Not just shocking, we don't have anything to show for it.
Even though they have a lot of debt, they haven't stopped spending. And right now, you're wasting 84% of your income on variables like food, entertainment, and stuff. Because you consolidated so much debt to the house, you took your housing costs up. Now your housing costs are at 53%. It should be 35%. Look at those worry lines on your forehead. I am so happy to see those.
Well, I am concerned. Why wouldn't I be?
You're over budget by $6,200 every month.
Right.
If you stay on that track, in 5 years, you'll be $953,000 in debt, but you won't ever make it there. You will have lost the house in less than a year. I can help you, but I can't fix this. You have to fix this.
Right.
So will you do anything I ask?
1,000%.
We will do whatever's necessary to
Okay, good.
dig ourselves out.
Over the next few weeks, we are going to wake you up to your financial reality. We're going to look at your options for how to deal with this mess. And if you do decide that you want to stay in this house, we're going to have to figure out how to protect this, which is probably your most important asset at this point. Coming up, shifting priorities.
Well, there's no entertainment yet. Weekends are sacred to us. But now
Sure
it's,
they are.
now
They're
you say
sacred to us
why?
if we're financially stable.
Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money.
Homeowners Shannon and Pete are drowning in debt.
Ridiculous how we can't control it. It's like fire.
Pete's attitude is out of sight, out of mind. You haven't filed a tax return in 12 years. And Shannon's no better. Do you have any idea how close you are to losing the house?
I'm in complete denial.
You're in deep, is what you're in. Pete started to sweat now that Shannon's quit her job. You're over budget by $6,200 every month.
It's not just shocking, we don't have anything to show for it.
To get things under control, they'll have to play by my rules. For the next month, these homeowners will learn to live on a strict cash budget. No more credit cards. They'll complete weekly challenges to tackle their money and relationship issues. And if they're willing to change, I'll reward them with thousands of dollars to pay down their debt. No changes, no money. So you're going to be living on cash, but you're going to be living on a lot less money than you've been used to because I'm cutting your spending by about 70%.
7-0?
Instead of the $3,600 you've been spending on a whole bunch of stuff, you're going to have about $1,100, and it's going to play out like this. You'll have $125 a week for food, $88.23 for transportation. You'll have $25 a week for entertainment.
What can you even do for $25?
You'll find out.
Yeah, I guess we will.
You will have
No money for
$0 for clothing and gifts, and $30 for other. This is the beginning of a new positive habit, taking care of your money. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
You, challenge number 1. Guess what?
Get a job.
Oh my God, see, I don't even have to say it, but you also have to balance your budget. I want you to eliminate every single thing that is not a need. At this point, you can't deal with wants. First thing in the morning, Shannon and Pete got down to the daunting task of trying to balance the budget with only one paycheck.
With everything in it, we're over budget.
By how much?
$500. Vacation, 0. Interest in hobbies, I'm putting 0 for that.
Well, there's no entertainment yet. So we can't even scratch
So
that.
it's gonna have to be no.
Well, come on.
The only other place I could say we could cut is the cable.
Ouch.
I know.
Well, if we're not going out and we're not doing... Our budget right now, in my opinion, is very unrealistic. Right now, we have no money allotted for entertainment.
Pete wouldn't drop the entertainment issue,
But am I wrong here, though, with the entertainment and restaurant?
leaving Shannon to question this commitment.
I think it's gonna take a little more time for Pete to come around with the gravity of the situation. I don't think it's reality for him yet.
Like, I'm gonna have to get another job looking at this.
I can always go 10 bar, like 1 shift on a weekend or something.
I'm not happy with it. We both really enjoy our weekends right now.
We are up creek with no friggin' money right now. I just want to get through now. And you have a problem with me not being around on nights. That's just too bad. That's what's gonna happen.
Oh, so now it's my fault.
No, it's not your fault. I'm just...
We both agree that you want to be... Weekends are great. They're kind of sacred to us. But now
Sure they are.
now
They're
you're
sacred to
saying
us
that
if we're financially stable.
Shannon's clearly gotten the message that she needs to do whatever it takes to become financially stable.
It's not about being happy at a job right now. It's about the house and paying for everything. I'd like to start work right away, doing anything if I could.
Your joint income on this budget is $6,000. Does this take into account the fact that you don't have a job?
I have an interview tomorrow and an interview on Tuesday.
Okay.
So I am assuming that the worst case scenario, me making a minimum wage, that's what we would bring home.
Because you still have a few weeks to go in terms of coming to terms with some stuff. Yeah. So I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt now. Even if Shannon were to get a job earning her previous salary, their housing costs would still be too high. For this next challenge, they'll need to be prepared to deal with the consequences if they can't afford to keep the house. This week, it's all about you going through the house and making a list of all the things you have started and never finished, and to do whatever is required to fix the house up so that it can sell.
Paint.
Okay?
I see paint in our future.
Okay. You will have until the end of this whole process, and you will have to get to work finishing some crap.
Sell the house, pay off the debt. I'm not willing to throw in the towel as quickly as you are.
Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money.
In 5 years, you'll be $953,000 in debt. Shannon and Pete's self-indulgent spending on stuff for their house has finally caught up with them. Who pays $3,000 for a vacuum cleaner? They consolidated so much of their consumer debt onto their mortgage that they now owe more than the house originally cost.
I'm freaking out, thinking, where's my retirement gonna come from?
Pete's let things slide to the point where the tax man's taking a big chunk of his wages.
Totally irresponsible. I've admitted it 1,000 times.
Meanwhile, Shannon's out of work. They're so close to the edge, they may have to sell the house.
The realization that we could lose everything if we don't make some sacrifices, it hit hard.
My challenges should help them get out of this mess. If they succeed, I'll give them up to $5,000 to help them pay down their debt. This week, I've sent an appraiser to go through the house to give them an idea of what needs to be done to maximize its resale value.
When people see little undone things, they tend to think, if I'm seeing those, what about the ones I'm not seeing? The front driveway, you haven't finished in that area, definitely well worth doing. And an area like this where parking is always an issue, that's a wonderful thing. The painting, of course, because it's something that's not very costly and it does have a really good return. There are some scratches on the floor, and you might want to consider renting a polisher and just running it through all the floors. It's ideal to replace that carpet that's damaged and stained upstairs. When purchasers are looking at that, they put a number on it. That number often is exaggerated, and you will see it in your offers. And at the end of the day, you're probably looking at a cost of between $3,000 and $5,000 at the most. If you leave the property as is and sell it, we're looking at the low end of the range being $388 to $390. And if you go forward and make the improvements that I've suggested, you're achieving the high end of the range, being around the 406, 407 mark. Well worthwhile.
That got them going on the projects they can afford to finish right now.
The whole idea of losing the house, that lights a giant fire under both of us.
Fraser said we needed to dump at least $3,000 to $5,000 into the place now With the budget we have now, I don't know how the hell we're gonna do it.
But ultimately, that's the choice they'll have to make. Stay and invest more money they don't have, or sell and pay off all their debt. To make sure they're considering all the options, I've sent them to check out a rental property that falls within my general guideline for housing, around 35% of their income.
If we rented, and we saved the difference of $500, we could save about $6,000 in the first year.
That's nice.
It's a nice size. I miss having an ensuite.
Ensuite, no debt. If we rent, we wouldn't be responsible for some of the larger repairs that need to be done, right? Obviously, that's looked over by the landlord. Nice kitchen.
Very nice. For what we'd be spending per month, it's a beautiful home. Just don't want to make an emotional decision because it's so nice looking.
If we were to rent, obviously, we'd be selling up most of our debt, and we could free up some money and sort of have a life again. We don't have any money for entertainment. We can't do anything. I couldn't even take you out for dinner for your birthday.
Quick fix. Sell the house, pay off the debt. That's gone now. Did we learn our lesson? Maybe not. I still think keeping our house and paying our debt down is the best way.
I really do consider it a vital option to sell and rent a place.
I'm not willing to throw in the towel as quickly as you are.
You really liked what you saw?
I like what I saw, and it's a good option for where we are,
Yes.
I think.
What's your hesitation?
That's a Band-Aid fix.
Yep.
We pay off all of our debt and we're at zero and we're awesome, and now all of a sudden we have all this money and we go right back into debt, or we don't end up coming up with a down payment.
Well,
for
it
another
would
house.
certainly take a commitment. Did you go out looking for a job this week?
I did.
And how many interviews did you have?
I had one interview yesterday.
Okay. Of all the paint that has to be done, what percentage still remains?
60 or 70%. Yeah, I have to figure
so
out
you
how
still
to...
have 70% of the painting to do.
Yeah, we had to fill a lot of holes and I had to go over the trim and
Right.
prepare the trim before I painted it. So that's all painted now. You just have to slap the paint on the wall.
Okay. If this is in fact something that you are going to consider doing, staying in this house, then I think you need to do so with everything out in the open so that you know exactly what you're facing a year down the road, 5 years down the road, okay? And a home inspector can do that. So I'm going to send you a home inspector so that you know what you're dealing with if you decide to stay here. While we're cleaning up the house, clean up the paperwork. I want all your paperwork cleaned up this week. Okay. That means that tax returns have been done. Do not touch it. If I see your sticky little paw prints on it, I will smack you.
Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money.
You treat your house like a piece of crap.
The gravity of the situation has been drilled into our heads.
You are complete morons when it comes to your money. Homeowners Shannon and Pete let their finances and their home fall into disrepair. They've made some progress, but now it's time to decide whether to sell the house and pay off the debt or invest the time and money it'll take to restore their number one asset.
Certainly, guys, it's very, very cool up here.
I've arranged for a home inspection, so they'll have a clear picture of the costs they're facing.
You're 3 times colder than really what it should be on these exterior walls. There could be a lack of insulation. The drywall's gonna have to come down, re-insulate. Could be quite a costly venture, but...
We had to buy sweaters yet?
No.
The garage should not be overlooked. It's a key component to this home. You've had some work done. However, you've got open cavities here. These should be sealed to prevent carbon monoxide, which is a toxic gas, entering the home. Okay, guys, it looks like someone attempted to fix a crack in your foundation.
The builder came back like 3 or 4 times to do it.
Wow, and they didn't get it right, eh?
No.
You've got mold forming here, the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah.
So definitely, yeah, absolutely, all right
For
in here.
sure.
That is priority number 1, is getting this thing fixed properly. Another thing I noticed towards the back of the home was a horrific grating up against the home. All of the water is going up against the home. You'll have to get some landscaping done, but it's those 2 issues, this crack and the grating at the back, are 2 things you have got to get addressed.
And obviously, we'd have to come up with that money before we could sell it, and we don't have it now anyway.
The quick fix of selling the house and turning it around to pay off the debt, that's gone. We're going to take it seriously. We're going to have to fight our way out of it.
If they're going to save their home, they need more money. Pete started by tackling his back taxes.
It's going to be faxed off tomorrow, and the garnish will see some of my paycheck as of the next pay.
It was driving me crazy that for 3 or 4 months his wages are being garnished, and all it took him literally 15 minutes.
Pete's also committed to increasing his income.
Well, I just did my forecast for next year. If I hit my target, it's going to be about 35% increase in what I made this year. Now with my garnish being lifted, that's another 30%. So all of a sudden there's 60% increase in money.
I see a really big change in him. Like we can have a discussion about money, and it doesn't lead to an argument.
One of the things that happened this week, which is sort of a big turnaround for you, is you changed fundamentally how you're thinking about the money.
I have a little respect for the money, if that makes
Yes, it
any
does make sense.
whatsoever.
You feel like you have a plan moving forward.
If there's any extra money coming in above like our static debt repayment plan that we have set out,
Yep.
we're going to just make a lump sum repayment towards the mortgage.
Okay.
We did use the house as a dumping ground financially, physically. So now we realize that it was really dumb. Like it really was.
When I got here, you were overspending by about $3,500 a month, and you were headed to $950,000 worth of debt in about 5 years. It was before you quit your job. So what I wanted for you was for you to wake up to your financial reality, okay? And I think you've done that.
Yeah.
Initially, I wasn't convinced these two were going to make it, but I've seen some huge improvements. Even though the painting isn't finished, I'm going to give them one more chance. No, I was coming to give you $4,000. Okay?
Yeah.
But here's what I'm prepared to do. You send me pictures of these walls finished, I'll give you this too. Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
Fair enough, very fair.
Okay.
Well, Gail, there's a nice way of stating the blatant obvious things to you to make you go, what the... Everything she said makes sense, and she proved to us it worked, and we proved to ourselves it worked. She's all right.
6 weeks later, I was happy to send them a check for the full $5,000. Pete's earning more, but the big news is that Shannon got a full-time job. Between the two of them, they're confident they'll be able to stick to their debt repayment plan, finish their home repair projects, and keep it all on budget.